Okay, welcome back. Double J weekend preview. And today, most of you are thinking, well, Lionel Messi's gone to Inter Miami. That's where they're going to start out today. No, we do have to address the allegations of whether or not baby Gronk did truly riz up Livy Dunn at LSU this weekend. We have to get to that portion first. We got to kick it off that way. Damn it, Jace. Damn it. I couldn't keep the straight face. I had to get it. Jace made me laugh there. All right. That was going to be as serious as we possibly could. No, seriously, we're going to start with the Conference League final. West Ham win. We'll get into Lionel Messi to Inter Miami, Saudi Arabia getting N'Golo Kante, and also the PGA Tour in a 7-day span, as well as Kareem Benzema. So that's pretty crazy. What a week for them. We'll get out of here with our Champions League final preview. I actually asked Jace before we did the intro. I said, so we got the Conference League final, we got Messi to Miami, baby Gronk and Livy Dunn. And then we've got what's the last thing? I'm missing something. And Jace had to remind me there's a Champions League final this weekend. I've tried to block it out of my memory, just so it just may not happen if I do that. All right, let's get into it. Okay, welcome back. Double J weekend preview. Did I say review on the intro? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Only thing that does matter from this week is West Ham are Conference League champions. Their first trophy in. I don't want to. A lot of people have gotten on like the Cup Winners'
Since
Cup
the
thing.
50s or 60s.
Thank you, Jace. That's why we have you here. It is a huge accomplishment for West Ham. A fairy tale story for a lot of their players. For David Moyes, their manager, for his first piece of silverware ever. Jace, a crazy game actually in itself.
Yeah, an awesome game. Deserved penalty for West Ham. VAR did well there. Florentina tied up, and then Gerard Bowen at the end. It was the pass from Paqueta was perfect. I was telling you after the game, I was like, his transfer fee was worth that pass.
Oh yeah, he repaid the transfer fee with the pass alone. I also I will say if you're that last defender, I know it's a definite red card. It's also a European final. I don't know. Take him out, maybe. Just call me crazy. Take him out. Get a red
Yeah,
card.
take
Take
him
him
out
out.
before the box. Like
Yeah, he had a
literally,
chance. There
yeah,
was a
you get a
split-second
red,
chance.
but I mean, you have 30 minutes and everyone's dead
Yeah,
to hold the fort and go to penalties. Yeah, I agree with you. He should have taken him out. Um, we saw it with Fed Valverde. I think
yes,
last season or 2 seasons ago in the Spanish Super Cup,
yep.
he just absolutely obliterated whoever it was
Yeah, he did.
that was going through, got a straight red. Real Madrid ended up winning that game. So that
Uh,
is always the right decision in the cup final. You got it that late, you have to just obliterate the person.
Yep, and Solskjaer took a guy out in the Premier League way back when. I think it was against Tottenham, if I remember correctly. The video came up. He got straight red. So plenty of times been done before. I'm just saying, probably do it in that situation. Call me crazy. I know it's personal suicide as far as the game goes, but get sent off. As far as the game went, Fiorentina were probably the better side over the 90 minutes, I would say, but just because West Ham knew what they were trying to do. We're gonna
Yeah, and the
block
center
in.
backs played really well too
Yes,
for the West Ham.
Aguerd was really good. Zuma was really good, and Fiorentina did the Italian team. It was the Italian team versus the English team, and one of them's going to have a lot of the ball, might not do a whole lot with it. Fiorentina. The other's going to sit in these low blocks, try and break and counterattack with their fast wingers and good midfielders who can pick a pass. West Ham. It's not against the norm as far as this final went. Just usually exactly how you expect it to go, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if I expected it to go the scoreline way. I thought for sure this was headed to extra time,
I did
honestly.
too. Yeah, I definitely did.
But definitely like as the game flow goes, it went pretty much as expected. Fiorentina liked to score too.
Oh yeah,
Similar,
they
not as much as Atalanta, but in that kind of sense.
yeah they were going forward. Nordi Amrabat seeing a lot of shouts after yesterday for transfers and stuff like that. Another Moroccan. It was the day of the Moroccans yesterday, low key. Is it? He's Moroccan. Aguerd's
Yeah,
Moroccan. Both on that Moroccan national team that went deep. It's really not surprising that Fiorentina and West Ham are where they are when they have players in quality positions that have played well all season, including the World Cup.
yeah. And for West Ham to win 11 games in the Premier League and then win 12 games in the Conference League is just like talk about a hell of a cup run.
Crazy season as a whole because you look at them and you're saying we rooted for this all year, didn't we? Where we were like, we want some of
Yeah,
these crap teams to win Europa League and Conference League because it'd be hilarious if we have a team in the double digits of divisions winning and getting into a higher
and
level of
that
European
happened. I mean,
competition.
Sevilla sucked
The
too.
Villa and West Ham both sucked in the league for their comparisons and how they feel about themselves, and they're moving on to higher European competition.
Yeah, it's crazy that I mean West Ham make it the eighth team now. That's from the Premier League next year that'll be playing in Europe.
Yeah,
Um, it's
crazy.
crazy. But from the Fiorentina side, they had a chance to win the Italian Supercoppa, which was Europa League. If you win that,
Hmm.
and Conference League final, which was Europa League, and they lost both.
Oh
Yeah,
man, where did they
two
finish in the league?
opportunities to get
It wasn't
not
in
enough.
not
I
enough.
think
Yeah,
they finished in
because
eighth.
the Italian league was kind of stacked with like the big guys this season.
Yeah,
Um,
and plus they got Juventus thrown back at them
yes, yeah,
after
that's
the
true.
10-point deduction.
That's also true. Jeez,
Yeah.
rough couple of days for Fiorentina fans. Nonetheless, a storybook probably ending. It looks like ending for Declan Rice, going from a child, a genuine child at West Ham, growing up, becoming a captain of West Ham. He has changed nationalities more than he has changed clubs in his career, and he goes on to win a European title on his probably his last season for West Ham. You couldn't have written that better for the guy.
Handled it with class too. When they, of course, he had to be asked about it after the game, and he basically just said, "I have 2 years left on my contract at West Ham. Who knows?" Like
And also I
he was
have
making
one.
sure the story was West Ham and not, or and not Declan Rice. You know,
Yeah,
like when you think about, we were talking about a couple weeks ago about how Hazard after Chelsea beat Arsenal in the Europa League final basically said, "I'm leaving" in the walk off interview, and all anyone talked about was Eden Hazard going to Real Madrid after that.
yeah,
Rice
and
just like left it as, I have 2 years left on my contract. Who knows? Let's focus on West Ham winning a trophy.
what I would say if I were in Declan Rice's position would just be like, I got one night of getting hammered in front of me. You got no, I'm not thinking about 7 hours from now. I'm thinking about what drink I'm going to have in 5 minutes from now because I just won a European trophy for West Ham as their captain, as a boyhood talent that grew up through the team. I think he's in a good position to just be like, screw that. We're done. I don't care about Arsenal. I don't care about anything else right now. I'm going to go and celebrate with what I did with West Ham.
Yeah, and the parade today too looked awesome. He was holding
Awesome.
the trophy. So many people.
He said
Um,
he on live
Crazy.
television on the BBC said that West Ham are fucking massive, which was really hilarious to see because you could see some of like the older people around
Fine
like, oh,
incoming.
oh, oh, no, don't say that. Don't say that. Yeah, fat fine incoming. Um, and I think the last thing to touch on in this game is David Moyes. David Moyes
Yes.
wins his first major honor. He won the Community Shield with United, which we're not counting and no one really counts. Wins a European trophy for West Ham. Incredible. And he went nuts when that Jared Bowen chance went in because I think it's almost like everyone can see the writing on the wall. I feel like that David Moyes is going to leave West Ham at the end of this year. Maybe not so much, especially after the scenes last night. I'd almost just
Yeah,
keep
maybe
him on at
not.
this point. I would almost keep him on at this point, but it would be such a great way to be like, all right, I got this team as far as I could get them. But now that you've gotten them even further, don't you want to see that? It's a tough decision. We've assumed that he's going to be gone at the end of this year. After the scenes last night, after seeing him singing Jared Bowen and the Jared Bowen song about Danny Dyer, all that stuff, it's tough to see him leaving.
I I don't think you can sack him. I think that's for sure. Like that's a guarantee.
No, can't
Like
sack him.
he saved his job with
Yes.
this. I do think it would be best for West Ham if they agree to mutually part ways. Um,
I
but
agree.
that also depends on how they spend the money they get this summer because they're getting a lot of money.
I mean, they're going to get what at 90 minimum for Declan
90
Rice.
minimum for Declan Rice, and plus maybe some other guys will want to go too. But I just think they could do with like a fresh start in the league. I mean, this cup run was awesome. Teams
Yeah,
go on cup runs. This was great. David Moyes wins his first trophy. I just think that's the best way to send him out because I just don't see how it's going to be different in the league next year. Next year, like they were not playing with the times for 3/4 of the season. They were just crap.
yeah,
Like,
and
I
that's
mean,
kind
there's
of
no other way to
where
describe it.
that's where I kind of you lose me is like, yeah, the league season happened though. where a majority of people are predicting you top 10. They're expecting the improvements in the development we saw last season to continue.
They went from 7th and spending 150 million odd whatever to 15th.
Yeah, it's bad. It's just not. It's not sack. You can't sack him, but I think David Moyes needs to realize it's probably time. And as Jay says, I agree. West Ham need to move into a new age here because Declan Rice leaving is essentially your team at this moment in time. I love Paqueta. I love Ben Rama. I love Bowen. I love some of these other Suchek, who is at a down season. I love Kufal, down season. Like, there's good in Aguirre. There's talent in that West Ham team. But when Rice leaves, you've got money to spend. Is David Moyes the guy you want with the keys to the castle? I don't know.
I would agree with that.
It's tough to sell me on that. As much as I love seeing him go nuts yesterday, and like I said, I think I said this on the podcast. I was upset when David Moyes got sacked from United way back when because I thought we were disrespecting him, didn't give him enough time or transfer fees. He's slowly but surely started to prove how good of a manager he is and can be again. And I think this season Jace has been very critical of him. But
yes, perhaps
nonetheless, he ends with a European trophy, and we don't. Neither me and Jace do. So, dub David Moyes. I guess that is it from our Conference League final. No one next up for that. Summer training. Go party, West Ham fans. I do not even want to know what the streets of Prague look like this morning. It has to be terrifying.
I don't want to know. Or those flights back this morning so they can get there for the parade.
Oh, can you imagine the smell on those planes on the way back from Prague?
A lot of half-dead bodies.
A lot of half-dead bodies. Okay. Jace's transfer news. Jace, I need to spin around and get my water bottle real quick right here. I've seen it in shot right there, and I've wanted to drink water this entire time. Take over your transfer news. We all know where you're starting.
Yeah, Messi going to Inter Miami, turning down €1 billion over the length of the contract from Saudi Arabia. He is getting revenue sharing from Apple, who's their main TV provider, and like revenue sharing from the Adidas jersey sales from Inter Miami. So he's getting a lot of money, and he has the opportunity to purchase an ownership stake in Inter Miami if he chooses to do so when he retires. But yeah, this is absolutely massive for MLS. In the 24 hours since it was announced that Messi's going to Miami, Inter Miami now have more followers than any sports team in the entire United States. That includes the Lakers, the Cowboys, the Yankees.
It's not surprising, though.
All of them.
It's not.
Like, that's how just big Messi is. There hasn't been anything this big in MLS since David Beckham. The only two that can really compare would be Ibrahimovic and Henry.
Yeah, and even then, like, they didn't.
Even then, it's not even close to Messi.
They didn't have the Messi
not even
pull.
Close.
I saw a figure today. I just actually tweeted it on the Double J Twitter, which is at Double J Football for those who don't follow yet. At Double J Football, go follow us. We have great tweets. Messi is the biggest professional sports player playing in the United States. He has 469 million followers on Instagram. That is more than Steph Curry, LeBron James, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Shohei Ohtani, Alex Morgan, Jimmy Butler, Tiger Woods, Travis Kelce, Mike Trout, and Ja Morant combined. Ja Morant name drop there. It's insane, but Ja Morant name drop. That is per Fabian Wrinkle at Fabian Wrinkle on Twitter, who does a lot of U.S. news through SB Nation. Really good reporter. That's crazy. And I want to open this up to a larger discussion when we get into it. Is this actually even good for the MLS? Jay said it's going to be great for the MLS. I have differing opinions. I think this is a coin flip for the MLS.
It's going to bring so much money.
Yeah,
like you've already seen it with ticket prices. Like they're going to get back what they're giving up with the sponsors and stuff.
But it's about who are you getting in a fight with? Are we reverting back to we're going to use the money that we get from Messi and potential others coming into Inter Miami as let's go get more like that? Or are we going to go back to this little thing we've been phrasing for 4 or 5 years of we're a development league?
Yeah, you can't go back to the old era of, again, I go back to the Gerrards, the Lampards, but you can even go now. Douglas Costa's in the league.
Yeah.
Chiellini was or is still in the league. The two Italians up in Toronto.
Insigne's not performing.
Yeah.
Like,
and Bernadeschi's in a fight with Bob Bradley. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just chaos when some of these guys come. But yeah, I agree with you. It needs to be more of a developmental league, but Messi can help with that. There needs to be some changes to the roster sizes. We don't need to get into that, but they don't have enough spots for first team players for anyone to get developed. And I mean, you look a bit of later transfer news, but like a USL team is selling
Yes.
someone to Benfica for over $1 million.
Yeah. Like
And the MLS just like it gets really the players that get exported get super focused on, but there isn't really that many.
well,
Like
and
when you
that's the
think
thing.
about
Once
it.
the numbers get higher, because United States has only been doing this for like 10 years now. Once the numbers increase, because we continue to develop players and send them off to academies and do stuff like we do with McKinney and Pulisic and Tyler Adams and Brennan Aronson, then there won't be as much spotlight because there's going to be more of them. So it's going to be hard to get the spotlight on everyone. I think that's going almost right now with a little bit Ricardo Pepi. He's getting a lot of spotlight from specifically men's national team fans, but overall as Americans, not many of them know about Ricardo Pepi. I would doubt.
Yeah.
The
And I think
also
like not just Americans too. Like like it needs to be like a full developmental league, like South Americans, if you can get them to come play in MLS and sell them. Like it shouldn't just
yes,
be Americans. Like
I
they need
agree.
to fully embrace development.
I agree because also the other hand of this is you do revert, right? You lose that battle. You lose to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is going to eat you like it's a croissant. A croissant appetizer before their full 5 plate breakfast is the MLS for Saudi Arabia. They just bought the PGA Tour. I want to get into that in a minute here,
Yeah.
too. I want to have some Saudi Arabia experience with living through Saudi Arabia for a whole season as we have, Jace. How bad it actually is. It's not that bad. They're actually kind of cool. If we're being honest with it, they're kind of cool.
They're just taking over.
Yeah, they're just taking over and you have to accept it. You lose the retirement league battle. You lose it.
Yeah, Messi came because he'd rather his family move to Miami than Saudi Arabia. Like he's still getting a
Yes.
ton of money, but like he doesn't care.
And I didn't know this until today. Do you know where the largest Argentinian population is in the United States?
Got to be Miami.
Gotta be Miami. And it is Miami. It's Miami. It's not surprising either because as we know it, Florida is just immigration central, especially from South America. It's got the temperature and the climate for it, so it's not too big of an adjustment period. And a lot of people down there speak Spanish. Just a fact. We're not trying to be any sort of bringing race into this, but when Lionel Messi and his wife go and look and say Saudi Arabia or the big lights of Miami where everyone thinks I'm a god. Boop. Yeah, no, I think we got it. We're pretty clear on where we want to go.
Yeah, especially when he doesn't care about the money. And I'm
No,
pretty sure he already owns a home in Miami. Like it's gonna they vacation there. I don't think it's gonna be much of an adjustment for him. Now it's just all about finishing the details. I don't think anything's been signed officially.
no, but he came
MLS
out and
put out a statement
he did an
and
interview too where he was
yeah,
like, I'm going to enter Miami, which is listen, I know I've been a little bit of a negative Nelly, a downtrodden Darlene, but he is going to affect this league for the better. If the MLS play this correctly, and as Jay says, don't step away. Don't try and fight Saudi Arabia. You lose. Two, continue the development you're doing. We're getting a lot of good players. Miguel Almiron,
yeah, that's a good
Atlanta
one.
FC. Like non-American, you're talking about that too, Jace. A guy from not a massive South American country getting his shot in the MLS and making it to Newcastle. Also identical kind of to that goal movie way back when. That
Yeah.
was so good.
But and it took time in Newcastle. It's thankful that like they didn't sell him
Dude,
before Eddie Howe came
yeah.
in and actually coached him up.
Yes, so true. Like it was there was a big joke of like he hadn't scored in forever in the league. He didn't like score his opening debut goal for a very long time in the league. It wasn't all easy for Miguel Almiron, but if you can get these guys to good clubs with good academies, look at where some of these guys are going. Borussia Dortmund, Leipzig, Salzburg, all noted incredible academies. As long as the United States can continue to do that and produce talents through their league like that, boom, you're good. You're great. Your league is whatever outside of the French league all the time. Well, and the Dutch league, anywhere in Europe. Because once you do, until you do promotion and relegation, I'm not including them as up there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that would just it's just never going to happen. The San
No.
Diego franchise is paying $500 million to become a franchise. They're not going to accept getting relegated and losing all of the value of their team. But But my last thing on this transfer is Miami absolutely suck. They're
Yeah, they do. They
they're the
fired their
worst team
coach.
in the league. They just fired Phil Neville, which would
Poor
have been
guy.
hilarious if Phil
Poor
Neville was
guy.
Messi's coach. um, but yeah, so they're gonna have to do something to get better. And I guess I'll just go ahead and segue into our rest of our transfers. Busquets, Alba, and Di Maria have all been linked with Miami in the last 24 hours.
I'm pretty sure Di
All
Maria is
three
going
of
to
them,
go. I'm pretty sure
all
Di
three
Maria
of
is
them
going.
aren't going to go because there isn't enough money in those stupid DP spots and whatever else.
No, yeah, MLS
Um,
ain't got that pull anymore.
I could see Di Maria and Busquets going.
I could too. I could see Di Maria and Busquets. Those look the most likely. I don't know about Alba. I've also read Tata Martino, the old Argentina coach,
And
is
Atlanta
probably
FC coach.
and really coached Atlanta FC. See, that shows how little I
Yeah,
know.
then he
About
went to
I
Mexico.
openly know like very little about specific MLS teams. I'm going to be honest about that.
He was Almiron's coach.
Oh, noted. Okay, well, Tata Martino at Inter Miami. Also, Aguero did some interview and said that Messi said that he's ready for a playoff push, which is really weird to hear Lionel Messi say, "I'm going for a playoff
I
push."
refuse to believe Messi said the word playoff.
I know it doesn't. That doesn't sound right.
He's
Yeah,
never thought about a playoff in his life.
Yeah, it can't.
He doesn't worry about relegation.
No,
Doesn't worry
no,
about it playoffs.
it does not sound right.
All right, the next one is the next victory for Saudi Arabia. They got N'Golo Kante, 100 million euros a year, only 100 million euros a year less than Karim Benzema. It's getting 200.
Yeah, which
but
should we get into Saudi Arabia as a whole too?
Yeah. Great deal for Saudi Arabia. Sucks for Chelsea. They're losing an absolute engine.
Yeah, 32 years old is what I want to talk about. N'Golo Kante is 32 years old and is going to Saudi Arabia and taking a check. That is signs of we're not just going to do these 35, 36, 37, like on their last leg players. And don't get me wrong, I think Benzema is going to give Saudi Arabia like 2 to 3 really good years. Ronaldo's, I think, still going to give them till 40, probably. I think that's his thing, is he wants to play until he's 40, whatever. They have the Conte signing to me is showing we're going to go get guys that are maybe not so old, maybe not so out of their prime. I mean, I think I read Adama Traore this week is thinking about going to Saudi Arabia.
That's they offered Zaha too.
Zaha, yes, that's another one. Free agent. Mahrez, they're going after. These are transfers to where you can almost create like a Champions Tour, like in golf, for a football league where you go and say, you're 31, 32, and it's almost like a commercial, one of those commercials. Are you 31 and 32 and are thinking about retirement from football? Don't worry. We have a plan for you. Come on down to Saudi Arabia. The public investment fund is yours. That, like, genuinely a commercial for getting them to come to Saudi Arabia. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I said, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? The public investment fund has scooped up 4 teams in the league and want to invest 20 billion over the next 2 years.
Yeah, I compared them to China and MLS and all this stuff. The thing that they are doing differently is
next level.
They are letting their government run their football and their entire sports. It's objectively, say what you want about how their practices and all this crap. Objectively genius.
Yeah, but like no one else has that money.
No, it's horrible.
Saudi Arabia is massive and they have a ton of oil. And they're now decided to diversify their portfolio and get into sports. I mean, they're deep into Formula One, obviously Newcastle, and then now they are the majority investor of the PGA Tour.
It is crazy to me that when this PGA Tour news dropped, no one knew how high up they were in F1. Where it's like, yeah, they run F1 right now. Like literally, they own F1.
Aramco's like their biggest sponsor.
Yeah.
That's Saudi Arabia.
That is oil.
Like Gazprom is Russia.
Yes.
Like when you see Gazprom, you know who it is.
It is like, and I think the PGA Tour, and let's talk about that for a minute. I do want to talk about that because I feel like that's wide ranging talk that we can talk about in this stupid little time here too. Transfer news. PGA Tour has been bought by Live Golf in transfer news this week. This isn't surprising. This is what they want to do. I use the example, and golf fans going crazy and using the moral argument when their moral argument chair literally threw himself to the Saudi private public investment fund. Look at what they've done with Newcastle. Just look a little bit about what they've done with Newcastle. If you have any concerns as to how well this could go, positive side. I know PGA Tour players have been screwed out of a lot of money. Oh, well, they're still hundred of billionaire quinzillionaires. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're going to get the money. I mean, the Saudis have so much, it doesn't matter to them.
And
So
it's a smart
they just
move in
use
my
live
eyes.
golf as a means to an end. They wanted to control the golf world. They now control the golf world.
Yeah, and they forced the PGA Tour into saying that they were going to hand out lump sums of money that they didn't have as a non for profit organization, and they were just like, all right, we're going to put you in litigation battles. We're going to make you pay lawyers. We're going to make you up your incentives for your players that you can't back financially for long term, and then we're just going to wait you out. And they waited them out, and it worked. Congrats, good for PGA Tour, or good for
Yeah,
Live Golf, and good for the Public Investment Fund, Yasir, the fellas. It,
they're taking
listen,
over.
it is. Do I agree with their politics and any of that? No. And this is not a political podcast. We are a soccer podcast at heart. What they have done with Newcastle is incredible to see. Realistically, it's awesome to see. What they're doing with the Saudi League is kind of sick to see. They have the money. It's not like China where they didn't have the money all the time. They have the money. Let them spend it, and let them spend it on older players who are looking for a retirement check. It doesn't really matter. They're going to
No.
make they have the best chance to make an actual cool retirement league.
Yeah, but the only way it matters is if they can get it televised.
That's true. That's what I was talking about today. I said they got to figure out their TV situation. Once they figure out their TV
Like, do they really
situation,
want? I don't think they care about eating that much money, but like, do they really not want just a little bit in return?
yeah, no, seriously, you want some sort of TV rights, and I'm sure someone's going to pay them some money. Nonetheless, especially with all these guys going out there, you'd expect someone is going to be like, okay, I would imagine it's BN. Is
It'll be
BN?
BN.
Yeah,
BN's Qatar.
yeah, they'll just kind of, yeah, I would imagine. Okay, Saudi Arabia talk, public investment fund done. Jace, back to your actual transfer news.
All right, the rest of these aren't too exciting. It looks like Ricardo Pepe is going to go to PSV. That's good for US fans.
Yeah.
Not going back to Augsburg and not getting relegated with Groningen. So
Yeah,
that's a win. The Xhaka deal from Arsenal's on hold until they get a replacement. I
wait, I
imagine
don't
that'll end
like
up happening.
that. I don't like that though. That seems funky. I smell something fishy.
I mean, I just don't think they want to let him go unless they have someone in hand.
Yeah, is
This
Rice
one,
not as for sure though? Is that what that kind of thing is leading to?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I'm not getting sucked into that. I've been let down by a dude too many times.
Oh baby, Jace is nervy about this Rice deal.
We'll just see
Noted.
that
Noted.
whenever it happens. All right, this one is actually pretty funny. Brahim Diaz is signing as a new player
Yeah, explain
for
this
Real
to me.
Madrid.
Explain this to me. I don't get this.
So like I don't know if it was Maldini leaving or what or getting sacked. He didn't leave. He got sacked. I guess the meeting was fiery. But anyway, yeah.
Literally fiery.
Brahim is coming back from a 2-year loan at Milan, and they're
Yeah,
just gonna introduce him as a new player, like unveiling and everything, just like when they brought him out of the City Academy. Like new contract until 2027, and he's gonna be involved at Real Madrid next year. Just
I
out of
mean,
nowhere. Like he looked like
Perez
it was a
is
Hakimi situation 2.0. He
Perez
was
is
like good
hilarious.
and like on loan for an extended period of time, and then they were just like, whatever, we're gonna sell you. But no, he's back, sign a new deal.
Paris is just hilarious with this stuff. He signs Bellingham for 100 million. You can just have like a massive unveiling for that. No, no, no. We also have to have an unveiling for our 2-year loanee returning to the club that he's always been his parent club. There've been
Yeah,
issues
he's
of
always
like,
been a
could he
player.
come back, or will he come back? But he is indeed come back. You don't need to have an announcement for that.
Yeah, pretty funny.
Hilarious. Very
But
funny.
um and Josh Winder was that guy we were talking about earlier from
Yeah.
USL
Yeah,
Louisville. That's going to
Louisville
Benfica.
FC. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
A guy from Louisville FC in a competition the MLS will never recognize is going to Benfica, a place that what do they love doing, Jace? Can you remind me?
They buy you, they coach you up, and they ship you out for a
Yep.
lot more money than they paid for.
Almost makes you think maybe we should think about doing that. No chance. No chance. All right.
McAllister release clause was 35 million pounds, which is just an absolute steal. But Liverpool fans have to stop acting like they did something special. It was a release clause. You didn't negotiate anything. You didn't rob Brighton. Brighton are the ones that set the release clause. Like,
Yeah.
they could have gotten more if it was open market, but it was in there. So like, you don't get credit for paying a release clause.
I just good. It's a good piece of business. 35
Yeah,
million for Alexis
absolutely. I'm not
McAllister's
saying
good piece
that.
of business. No, and I'm not saying you are saying
Yeah.
that. I'm saying this is starting to get over the top as if they got Prime Zidane for 10 million. It's like, let's pump the brakes a little bit here. He's a good player. He's going to improve your dog shit midfield. Just do that. Don't go on
And the
about,
new
oh, we
number
only
10.
got it. We only got it for 35 million. Okay, all right. No, we get it. No, nobody asked. You just keep yelling at the streets.
Yeah. Good for them. It's good signing. Another classic one, Rafael Guerrero is going from Dortmund to Bayern on a free. Where have we
Oh
heard
my
that before?
gosh.
What have
I
we
saw
ever
this
heard?
the other day and I was like, what? When will the Bundesliga finally take itself seriously? I thought about that this season because Bayern Munich had probably their hardest title win in
Yeah.
the,
They needed Dortmund to win, if we're
11
being
in a
honest.
row. Yeah, they did. And now you just go and get the team that fought you, their
Yeah.
starting left back.
Yeah. And I think even though Pavard plays on the other side or at center back, I think that's another signal that he's probably leaving this summer.
Yeah, I've seen rumors that he's gone, and I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
if Pavard left this summer. Doesn't really get consistent play time. Their back line's weird, and
Yeah, it really is
Tuchel's
weird. We'll
not
have
going
to
to
talk
want
about
him.
Matthew. Talk with Matthew about that this summer.
Yeah.
Hassan Mawar is going to Roma on a free,
What
linked
the
with
hell?
everyone in the Premier League for like 2 years ago, and Lyon priced everyone out, which was hilarious. And then that season, it turned out he sucked or was
Uh,
bang average. So
That's just the
just
weirdest.
ended up at Roma on a free.
That is
I
so
mean, he's
weird. And
good, but like
Mourinho
he's
is going
not
to work
Premier
something with
League.
him.
Oh
Mourinho is
yeah, I
going to
think he'll
work
be good.
something with him because he's always got that little bit about him. And I think it was just also like nobody's going to come in when you price out teams that badly. Well, they were asking for like 65, 70 million. Bad.
Yeah,
Come on. Have some respect.
yeah,
For everybody but Ed Woodward. You probably could have fooled him on that
yeah. He would have been like, no, 100.
one.
All right. Mateo Kovacic agreed to personal terms with City. They're going to get that done, I assume. It's a good signing
That's so
for City.
annoying.
He'll play really well,
That's
even if
so
Gundogan
annoying.
doesn't leave. But I feel like maybe Gundogan's going to end up at Barcelona now since they were trying to clear space for Messi, and then he went to Miami before they could clear enough space. And then my last one is Reece Nelson extending at Arsenal 4 years, and the talks with Saliba are progressing.
Okay. Well,
Both
good for
sides want
Arsenal.
it done.
Yeah, I don't. Saliba to Man United. We'll give you Varane.
No.
Okay. All right. That was worth a shot. Worth a shot. All right. Dylan has his little bit of tidbits. Not much. Um, Al Ali's president is who is going after Riyad Mahrez, by the way. So he will not be joining either Ronaldo or Benzema's team. That is, though, one of those four teams that Jace was talking about.
Yeah,
That
Conte is on Benzema's team for
Conte is on Benzema's
clarification.
team, and that is
Yes.
why I'm saying I'm kind of bought in because you start
Can
putting
we
some
bet on
guy.
Al if I had to win the title next year? Is
Yes,
that a
Jace.
possibility?
Yes, Jace. He's thinking with his
Give
head here.
Conte and Benzema,
Yeah,
book it.
book it against a wash. Whoa, yeah. I was about to say something bad about Ronaldo. Can't. Donny Van de Beek could be leaving United this summer. Looks like he's going to. Not really
Probably a good
surprising.
decision.
Coming off an injury, your old coach comes in and you still aren't getting anywhere near the minutes you probably want or
I
deserve.
kind of feel for him. He could have been really good. He was getting linked with Real Madrid and everything. He just
Yeah.
needs a new chapter.
Yeah. Can we actually call Dylan's tidbits? Can we just call it me talking about Saudi Arabian links?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Dylan's Saudi corner.
Yeah, Dylan's Saudi corner. Al Ali and Al Shabab have approached Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as well. So if
He should do that. I hope he does.
him and Mahrez on the same team in that Saudi league, I'm in. Again, you start giving me team ups, I'm automatically in. I need Ronaldo with someone. I need Al Nassr to get somebody. I know they have Talisca, but like I need someone, come on. Someone like closer to retirement age. I think that's all I got. Is that it? No, Jace, the thing you sent me earlier. Yes. Shakhtar CEO has come out today as Manor Solomon. He says, I believe Manor Solomon will stay in England. If he goes to Tottenham, we'll deal with Spurs in court in this case. Can you imagine we pay big money for him and finally Tottenham receives him for free? It's not fair in respect of our club. Can you explain to me what the hell is going on there?
So UEFA has this thing called Article 4, I think it is. It's 4 something, I believe, with the Ukraine Russia war. So Shakhtar players are allowed to temporarily terminate their contracts or any other team, Dynamo Kiev, whoever, and go join other teams. That's what Tete did. That's what Manor Solomon did with Fulham. And Tete
Oh,
at Leicester, obviously. And Manor Solomon's contract is about to run out. I don't know whether it's this year, there's 1 year left. So if he like terminates it for another year, he's going to leave to Spurs on a free transfer. And the Shakhtar CEO is pissed
I
because he
mean,
thinks what UEFA is doing is illegal. The Court for Arbitration of Sport rejected their appeal. They've now taken it to Swiss court.
it's not surprising. It's a weird
It's kind of BS,
situation.
dude.
It's BS. That's where I'm
Which
at.
also makes me, I'm confused about the Mudryk situation. Why didn't maybe Mudryk, maybe because he's Ukrainian, didn't want to
I
leave
think
them with
that's
nothing.
it.
So he said,
Yeah.
I'm not going to terminate
I'm
my
not going to
contract.
terminate my contract. Right. So it seems a little shady what's going on, especially just kind of using a war and ways of getting out of contracts and screwing teams over seems a little weird.
Yeah, but like also these guys can't stay and not play. They can
No,
only
I
play in the
agree with
Champions
that.
League at
Yeah,
Shakhtar. Like
I agree with
it's
that.
just I don't get why UEFA did this.
No.
Of all versions of something agreement you could have come to, you end up with they can just temporarily terminate their contract and leave.
Yeah, very dumb. Okay. That's all from me. We got to take our episode break here very quickly, and then we'll be back for Champions League final preview stuff. Enjoy. I can't wait to talk about City. Okay. Welcome back. Final episode break. I gotta adjust my headphones. My hair gets so bad in these headphones, just so bad. Champions League final. Manchester City against Inter Milan. Where is this one?
This one's in Istanbul.
Okay.
City minus 460 to lift the cup. Inter plus 380.
Golly,
Tough task for Inter
why?
here. They're going to have to hold down the fort, especially if City come out punching. I have no doubt that Inter will be ready. I think my biggest question for you, and I guess for us to discuss for Inter, do you start Dzeko or do you start Lukaku?
That's a great question. Lukaku has the backing of Megan the Stallion now, so I'm leaning Lukaku as a substitute late because he'll be embarrassed that he started out on the bench in front of Megan the Stallion, that he will have more emphasis to want to score against City and make it 4-1 to Manchester City.
Yeah, that's the issue that I'm going with. Like against City, you can't afford to like bank
Wait,
on having an
yeah.
impactor off the bench when you could find yourself 3-0 down at half and it doesn't matter
That's where I
because
was
their
at. I
defense
was
is
like,
so good.
I would keep him as a super sub because you can bring him on and he can get the goal that would be if you do keep it to nil. But you're not. I would be astonished if City do not have at least a goal by when Romelu Lukaku is coming onto the pitch if they start Edin Dzeko, which I think they will.
Yeah, I think they will too. I think it'll be Dzeko. He's rode with Dzeko through this entire quarterfinal, semifinal, all that. So I think it'll be Dzeko. But I mean, it's really all about the defense in the midfield, keeping De Bruyne, Haaland, Gundogan specifically, but also Grealish and Bernardo Silva and Rodri and John Stones
Yeah, that's the thing. They have so many
away from
weapons.
dangerous areas. Like that's just what I mean. It's what happened to United in the FA Cup final. Do pretty damn good job on Haaland. De Bruyne has a solid game, but
Not
doesn't
anything
all
crazy.
that much. And
Yeah.
then third guy Gundogan scores 2 goals.
Yeah.
Like
A banger
there's
12
just
seconds in, too, which is just
exactly
like
like
those are killer moments that these City players all have. I would love to be able to come on here and say, no, Inter Milan are going to hold out. Lukaku's going to come on and they're going to stop the treble. I can't see it. I can't. I
I can't either,
genuinely can't
honestly.
see it. It's tough to
As we've
see.
been saying for weeks, like City losing one of these games, whether it was Real Madrid in the semifinals, United in the FA Cup final, that was really the only stopping them. I feel like. I mean,
Yeah,
they're gonna
it's
win this.
it's
In my
tough, and
like,
we
they're gonna
all
win.
we said from like what way back when we did the predictions with Matthew, like the team that gets through the left side of the bracket is probably going to win the thing. If it is City, shit. Um, I This is so painful. To be honest with you, it's painful. It hurts to come on here and say they're going to win their first European competition while also being the second team to ever do the treble. Now, I know Pep. I know this City team. I know how they get in Europe. I haven't seen it this season. I haven't seen it this season. I know how Holland gets in Europe. Don't shoot me for saying Holland in Europe isn't as good as Holland in the league. Don't shoot me. It's fact. Just a
I
fact.
mean, he's the leading champion goal scorer in the Champions League.
Yeah, but in Europe, in previous seasons, he has
He literally
gone
scored. I think he scored a hat trick at
bright,
Salzburg and Dortmund in the
bright
Champions.
lights, bright lights against PSG. Where was he?
Yeah,
They were doing his celebration on the field in front of my
yeah,
man's.
that's true.
Jace, I'm clutching at straws here. Let me just clutch at straws.
He also has way better teammates now, though. Like,
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong.
and no
I'm just
offense to
saying
Dortmund, I don't like, but City or City.
some of these guys do have a chance and a tendency. Bright lights. Pep,
Yeah, and we've seen Tommy
Holland.
Tuchel do this. I saw him do it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. I think it was 2
Yes,
years ago.
when everyone thought City were going to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, Inter have the players to do it, but Tuchel had that team so fine tuned. And I'm not saying that Inter aren't, but Chelsea had gotten to play them already.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
Inter haven't. Who knows when? Can't think of the last time Inter played Manchester City.
And when I'm saying that these guys go missing, I'm saying there is one time a year they go missing. And by missing, I mean they don't have as big of a game. Holland could have had that game against United. That could be the game, and they just could be that good to where he's, oh, I had one bad game. And like I've said it all year, we have never seen the guy have two bad games in a row. He had a bad game against United. He had a bad game. He will openly admit, I think he said Varane stuck to him like sweat. He had a bad game. And it's tough to stop him. If I give a prediction, I'm not predicting City. I'm not. I refuse. If Barella and that midfield, which I think is going to get run through like shit through 10.
I would start Brozovic instead
That's
of
what I'm. That's what
Mkhitaryan
I'm
personally.
Yeah, you've
and
got to
let
start
him and
Brozovic.
Barea try and exert some sort of control. I don't even know if you can call it control because City are going to control it no matter who you put in there.
I just think if it's Mkhitaryan, Barella, and Çalhanoğlu, you're going to get run through like shit through Tin Horn.
I just think Mkhitaryan and Çalhanoğlu less so, are more of like luxury midfielders, like we like to say. Mkhitaryan's especially.
Yeah.
Brozovic is going to be in there to do the dirty work. And Mkhitaryan will get back, but Brozovic is just better at that.
And he's more trained to it.
And that's his position. Like,
yeah.
You're not asking him to do something he's not uncomfortable with.
No. As far as, are there any chances from that side that they could, from the Inter side, their defense is great. Their defense is great, and a back five may be the only way you can beat City. It's the way that Tuchel beat City. Could be. But again,
claw in the middle and double up on the wingers.
And if he starts Mahrez, I think they're cooked, though. I think if he starts Mahrez, and maybe I would go with Foden this game personally if I'm Pep.
If I had to bet, it's going to be Grealish and Bernardo.
It'll be Grealish and Bernardo. I would give Mahrez a go because I think you need someone on the wings who can. It's going to be one-on-one more than Bernardo.
Talk about Lukaku though. Mahrez coming on, playing against a tired.
Golly.
Dumfries or whoever it is out there. Should be interesting.
We're screwed. There's no way. I just can't. I can see a way where they keep him goalless just by parking it, maybe snatching a 1-0. That is 1% faith, 99% hope.
Yeah. I mean, I am not sure they're going to get 2 goals. Like if City get to 2 or 3, I think
it's over. If they get to 2, it's over. It's over.
I mean, and the counter could hit. Like Lautaro is fantastic on the counter.
Yep. Barella, Lautaro, Dzeko, or Lukaku.
And we've seen City be susceptible to counters.
I want to ask this
version has just been so good.
Is this the least excited you've been for a Champions League final a significant period of time?
Yeah,
absolutely. As far
as I'm used to watching Real Madrid in it every year, pretty much.
But. Yeah, and I get that, but like last year's final, Liverpool and Madrid, they had quad talks and stuff like that, and
Mo Salah revenge because they still think Sergio Ramos was out to hurt him.
Yeah,
even though he just landed on his shoulder.
It felt big. Season before that was City Chelsea, which felt big. Season before that was Bayern PSG, which felt huge because it was
huge for PSG.
Huge for PSG, and Neymar getting this, and that was a COVID Champions League.
Right. There was no one there. It was all played in Portugal, I believe.
And it feels bigger than what we got coming up to us Saturday.
And it's cool that Inter are back at the top of Europe.
And it just feels so one-sided.
it just feels like there's one team doesn't have a chance, which is obviously not the case. Of course, Inter have a chance, but I mean, the odds will tell you like minus
Cities
450
to
to lift the
lose.
trophy is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's cities to
Yeah, it's
lose.
cities to lose without a doubt.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Inter Milan 1, Manchester City 0. Romelu Lukaku for his baby girl Megan the Stallion. Boom.
Unfortunately, I'm going to go Manchester City 3, Inter Milan 1.
Yeah, that's probably more like it. Yeah, that should do it. I'd say that'll
No
do
early
it.
goals for Milan. First 15 has to be locked down.
If
City are
City
going to come
score
out.
in the first 15, it's over.
Yeah.
From
First, wait, are we talking
experience.
about 15 seconds or 15 minutes?
We're talking about seconds or minutes. Gosh. T-ball. I teed it up. Yeah. All right. I think that's all we got. Is that it? You got anything else?
Yeah.
We're gonna
No, I'm
do
good.
we're gonna do team reviews starting next week, or actually next episode.
Once the off season actually starts.
Yeah, once we can officially get ourselves to the off season. We're in this weird like purgatory phase of the season where we're not dead yet. We're still clawing at something, but come on.
Is it the World Cup? Is that why all this crap is going so late?
Yes, that is exactly what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They never
I
planned
just
that out.
feel like the Champions League final is usually not on June 10th.
No, it's not. No, it's usually way, way, way earlier than this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all we got today. Good discussion. Good discussion. Some Saudi private investment fund, PGA Tour, Live Golf, and what they're doing in the Saudi League. Some sick stuff. I like that. And then obviously all Jace's transfer stuff and his little stupid joke at the end there. All right. I've been Dylan.
I've been Jace. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Have a good weekend. We'll see you guys next week.